Do I have to like cover my can?
And
No
there.
product placement.
No, we are officially live.
Hello and welcome to For the Love of Crits. I am level 1 DM, Hunter. Thank you again for joining our playthrough of Curse of Strahd as we journey into the mist of Barovia. We last left our hubbub of holy men as they were entering the gates of Barovia. We do have a short synopsis of what happened in case you didn't tune in last time.
Greetings,
Not
weary
sure if I'll find it.
travelers. I bring to you today the harrowing tale of four clergy. Beset by trials in the land of Barovia. Guided by visions, each of the four holy men made their way to the town of Daggerford, to the Nightmare's stable. Meeting in the somewhat morose atmosphere of the tavern, the group decided to investigate the Vistani. The Vistani bade them welcome, gave them drink, and danced the night away. They welcomed the clergy, as they had been ordered to, by their people's leader, a one Madame Eva. The leader of the camp, Stanimir, told the group a story of a prince, whom the Vistani once aided and protected from his enemies. The prince promised that the Vistani would always be welcome in his home, and they would be free to come and go as they wish. The prince ruled over a mysterious valley called Barovia. However, these Vistani were not allowed into Barovia by their very own leader, Madame Eva. She had ordered them to wait here for the group of clergy, and they happily obliged, as they saw it as a way to earn their way back into her good graces. Trepidatious though they were, the group decided to investigate this Madame Eva, as she seemed to have some insight into their individual motivations. After everyone rested for the night, they headed out to the gates of Barovia. The headless guardians loomed over the gates as the clerics proceeded. But a loud clang rang out in the night, as the gates slammed themselves shut behind the group, who now found themselves...
We are back.
When we last left, as you know, we had just arrived at the gates of Barovia. The group had passed through, and the gates closed behind them, leaving a deadening silence in its wake, no longer surrounded by the bustling of the Vistani or the other companions that they'd had along the way. Let me bring you guys over back to the gates of Barovia.
Oh, that's right. We just went through.
Yes.
Ookie.
And can you guys hear the music?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's why.
Oh, I can't zoom out far. Can I zoom out? Oh, I can zoom out.
You guys are looking around. Fog is spilling out from the forest and swallowing up the road behind you. Jetting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road are high stone buttresses looming in the gray fog, towering trees whose tops are lost in the heavy mist, block out all but a death gray light. And the tree trunks are naturally close to one another, and the woods have the silence of a forgotten grave, exuding the feeling of unvoiced screams. The gates have now closed behind you, seemingly of their own accord.
Great.
Oh, that can't be good.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
So much
I'm
for
new to this, but
so much for leave whenever we want.
right?
Ugh.
I would
Wow.
probably have my Warhammer out, kind of scanning the vicinity, thinking from my past experiences, this is a trap. We're screwed.
Yeah, I definitely have my lantern out, hold it up, looking around.
Ugh. This is certainly not good. I'll
The
pull out
only
my
sen- Oh, go ahead.
my hammer and my shield.
As you guys are looking around, you don't hear the typical wildlife you could hear. The only wildlife you are hearing is the constant cawing of ravens. But you're not actually really seeing them. You assume that they would be hiding within the trees.
Well, as creepy as this is, we stay here, we're just sitting ducks. Or-
Yeah, no going back at this point, so.
So,
Oh, are you sure? Perhaps we could undo the hinges or something.
I get the
I mean,
feeling from this. Sorry,
We
my
haven't
friend.
even tried the door.
Yes. I
Kara's just gonna take a
Okay, yeah.
All right, we got to Barovia. Frig this, we're going home. All right,
As
let's run out. Let's on Dragon Heist now, guys.
So you guys approach the gate, and you're able to look through where you had just been walking through. The gates are sturdy, and the design appears to be old, but they don't seem to necessarily be touched by the rust of time. As you look through the bars of the gate, you can't see the road beyond. Instead, it's actually just a white wall of mist.
Oh.
Hmm.
That's odd. Was it that moist before?
I mean, it was misty, but not quite that much. Are you sure that it was only a day to get here?
Yes, I'm sure.
Hmm.
I'll jiggle the lock. Or just try to see if it opens. Just
As you jiggle
release.
it's very solid. It's hard for you to even shake it.
I'll
Can
provide you
you,
with like some light from my lantern if you need a closer look.
yeah, can you roll me a perception check really quick, Herbert?
Okay. Perception.
oof.
Not great.
Hellspire
Nine.
loving our rolls.
I know, it seems like our luck has not changed since last time.
Oh,
So 9 on perception.
Okay. As you're kind of looking, you kind of glance back as Graves walks forward with the lantern, and when you look back towards the gate, it appears that the distance between the gate and the wall of mist is now shorter.
Oh. Perhaps we should get moving.
Is it just
Yeah,
me?
I think
Or is the fog getting thicker out here? You hear from behind you.
well, let's find some civilization, I suppose. And I'll turn
except
around.
that They said that the town is about a day's journey, but about an hour or so before we'd run into a farmhouse. I guess we'd better start moving then. Unless you want to camp in these woods.
Well, it's only a few hours, I suppose, so it would be much safer to.
We didn't do much throughout the day, so I doubt any of us are really too tired.
And I don't think I want to camp so closely to this magic door that just closed behind us of its own whim.
Yes.
I agree with you, Carnareth.
Mm-hmm. Might as well.
All right.
Onwards and upwards.
No time like now. Whee!
Nowhere to go but forward.
Now, from this point, I'm not going to make you guys bounce the entire way down the road for the next few hours. So we are going to be kind of switching to theater of the mind from this point for a short while. As you guys are walking, the road feels very much the same as when you had first arrived there.
Oh.
Black pools of water standing like dark mirrors all around the muddy roadway, and the giant trees looming on both sides. The branches kind of clawing at the mist as you are traveling through. As you're going along the road, the silence starts to become almost deafening. The amount of crows that have been cawing are now less. You faintly hear the insects in the surrounding forest, but it almost feels as if you're being watched silently rather than them voicing their presence now. With you guys all being clerics, I'm not actually sure who has the highest passive perception, or do you all have equal?
Not me.
I'm at a 13.
Same.
15.
Oh.
Graves it is.
Well,
It's that lantern.
Graves has the highest passive perception?
Mhm.
Okay.
I assume I'm the only one that took proficiency in it then.
Graves, as you are walking along, you suddenly catch a smell that is very familiar to you. You catch the scent of death upon the air. The amount of ravens that are now cawing has increased in amount. The foul scent leads you to its source. You see off of the main road about 15 feet the body of a young man who appears to be a commoner. His muddy clothes are torn and raked with claw marks. Crows have obviously been at the body, which is surrounded by paw prints. The paw prints appear larger than most dogs that you've seen. The man has obviously been dead for several days based upon the smell. He holds a crumpled envelope in one hand. What do you do?
Friends, what do you make of this? And I'll lead them over. Like from the smell of the decay, this man has been here for a few days. I'm quite familiar with dead bodies in my line of work. Here, look at this. Now I'll pick up the letter from his hands, I guess.
Okay.
He has this, as well as these strange prints. What do you make of those?
I'm gonna, if I can, just do a quick Arcana check.
Okay,
on
yeah.
it. We're in a magical forest and there's dead things, so I just want to see if I sense any incantation on this body.
Okay, yeah.
Basically. I was planning on doing that before he touched the note, but we'll just say that I did it after. A whopping 11.
What do you make of this, Knapp? While Graves looks at the note and asks Conareth to look at the surrounding areas. There we go.
So I will upload the note so you can read it. I am going to be reading it out loud. So, just with all of the handouts, I am going to be reading them out loud. So everyone's kind of on the same page. So we don't have to wait silently while everyone reads it.
And that means for those at home, if you join our Discord link in the descriptions, you can see him in the Handouts channel.
So, let's see. There we go. As far as magic goes, you do not sense any form of magic upon this body. You believe that he was killed by physical means rather than magical. Graves, as you open the letter, you see in a handwritten note, and it says this: Hail thee of might and valor. I, the burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Irina Kolyana, has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 600 years, this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now, my dear Irina anguishes and dies from an unholy wound caused by this vile beast. He has become too powerful to conquer, so I say to you, give us up for dead and encircle this land with symbols of good. Let holy men call their power, that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to our graves, and save the world from this evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. Kolyan Indirovich.
Bone chilling.
Seems there's a powerful vampire in these lands.
I have never seen one myself, only rumors.
I cannot recall ever encountering one myself either. But in my studies with Torin of Pharasma and the undead, and how to combat them, vampires are ones that have come up as one of the more dangerous.
But, I mean, look at these prints. Are vampires canine in form? I mean...
Not that I have ever heard of. I feel as if these prints might not be the vampires doing. Or at least not directly.
And I'm scared of the size of wolves that are in these woods. What else is huge here?
Whatever it was, it seems like it stopped him from making his way with this message far enough, because I don't remember seeing any holy symbols on the way in.
Yes, I didn't bring enough with me to do all that, so...
Lucky for them we are clergy, though. We may be able to help.
I will kneel down at that and instantly, trace in the mud the holy symbol of Akadi.
Well,
perhaps
before we continue, it may be prudent to give this man a proper burial, even if it's only with what we have.
In the distance, you hear a wolf howl.
I thought that's what I heard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or join the chorus. It's far off, but it sounds like more wolves are adding their voice to the howling.
Well, friends?
The sound is progressively getting closer.
Alright, keep your wits about you, friends.
I'm gonna climb a tree.
Okay. You don't seriously expect to stay here, do you?
No, but I have ranged abilities, and last thing that I saw, the last town I was in, Fluffy couldn't climb the tree, so this might be similar. I mean, wolves and dogs are the same, right?
Roll me a perception check, Onyx.
But what if they're so big they could reach the top of the trees?
This prints appear larger than normal.
While this is happening, I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on myself.
Oh.
I'm gonna see what spells I have prepared.
Oh, let's try this again.
If that's alright, DM.
Mm-hmm.
I might do the same.
Oh, my dice just went away. So 13 for perception.
Okay. With a 13, you do see off in the distance over here moving shapes.
I will point them out and get into a readied position. I'd probably prep. Instead of my Warhammer, knowing that dogs are quicker than me, I'd probably stow that, take out my shield, and just prep a spell, like Sacred Flame.
Okay. And as you are going, this dire wolf sprints from out of the forest. It's massive. It gets to the edge of the road and stops.
Oh. And doesn't, move forward?
It is growling. It is pawing the ground, and it keeps kind of moving forward and then jumping back at the edge of the road.
What?
This cannot be the only one.
Are there any markings around the side of the road or anything like that?
Like, what type
Like-
of markings? Or like
maybe
incantations? Or
like sigils or something like that. Maybe
you do
some
not
sort of
see
writing?
one.
Hmm.
This direwolf is kind of pacing back and forth on the edge of the road.
And was the guy that we found on the road or off the side of the road?
About 15 feet off to the side.
Off.
So is it our understanding that the direwolf either doesn't notice us or isn't concerned with us at the moment?
Oh, he's growling.
I guess it was more so that he does see you guys there. It was more so that because your tokens hadn't been off to the side of the road, I assumed that you guys had moved back.
Yeah.
When you heard the wolves.
It seems that perhaps it cannot enter the road.
That's so strange.
Graves.
Yes.
You have the highest passive perception. You no
Yes.
longer see the gates behind you, but it's just a wall of white mist.
Friends, the gates are gone. The mist is also enclosing on us quickly.
Hmm.
Well,
Herbert's just super nervous.
the wolves don't seem like they can enter the road. We might as well follow the road where it's leading. I mean, we all came here for answers, right?
Yes, I suggest we keep an eye on the wolves as we go, just in case. Still keep yourself ready.
Oh, most certainly.
I have so many more questions now. The beast that subscribes itself to some sort of a boundary is so strange indeed.
You're more than welcome to go talk to it. I'm not
Maybe
leaving the road.
I'll ask the locals. That's all right.
There's a lot of strangeness going on. I'll keep an eye on the right if you want to divvy up, and maybe keep an eye on the left, and we'll just make our way out.
Yes, I can keep an eye forward, and then I suppose Herbert, you can, or Onyx, whichever one of you can keep an eye behind.
I'd also encourage a brisk pace, maybe?
Yes.
I second that motion.
Very well, let's continue. I'll take the rear.
I got the left.
And don't leave the road.
Don't leave the road. So,
if I see any turns ahead, I will let you know.
If you see any more dead bodies, leave them alone.
Yes. I was going to say, at what point do we... I mean, I guess when we come across them, we'll have to decide then, but there might be something that we should go investigate off the road.
As you
we find them.
As you guys are traveling along the road, while this is a road, it is hard walking. You are not able to make quick work of it. You have to constantly watch your footing as there are many potholes. It doesn't appear that this has been upkept in any way as a typical road would be.
Okay.
The mist continue to hold on with tenacity, and as you move forward, you have a constant follower of the wall of mist behind you.
Oh boy.
Always staying about 50 to 100 feet behind you.
Herbert is really fighting the urge to go investigate, to be honest. It's very, very curious.
What type of thing is watching us that can keep the mist at a constant distance? It's like it's ushering us in.
That letter did say that this vampire has been around for over 600 years. Vampires, from my understanding, are quite powerful and resourceful creatures.
Oh. I mean, I knew they bit people, but that's about all I know.
I
If,
thought they were,
I-
like, super strong and stuff, and they're really
I
fast.
believe so. I'm not the most up to date on them, but
My intelligence.
I believe they're much more dangerous as well because of their cunning. Yet I'm not gonna assume I know all about vampires because
You likely would know very little about vampires. It wasn't really
Yeah.
a part of your teaching, other than the fact that you do know that they are undead, and your god does not like the undead. That would kind of be the extent of your knowledge, and that the general knowledge that they drain people's blood.
Yep.
Could I roll history?
Anything that lives for 600 years is gonna have some resources, I imagine.
Yes. Could I roll history to see if I know like any specifics about vampires?
You can. It would actually probably be more so.
In Arcana or
It'd be
religion.
Arcana or Arcana, religion, or history.
Okay, I'll consult my religious texts.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would likely do the same if that's all right, because it
Yeah,
is
I'm okay with
undead
everyone.
specifically.
I'm okay with everyone kind of making a roll to see exactly what is going on.
I will with I can't talk. With
21.
disdain from that because I am so new that I didn't have time to study that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, it is specifically undead, which I would have learned about. I rolled a 21.
Okay, 21 for Graves. It was an 18 for Panera,
Yep.
and a Herbert rolled a 13. Okay, so
Actually,
Herbert.
Sorry, it was a 9.
Oh, a
Wait,
9.
no.
Oh,
No, it was a 7. My bad.
okay.
I rolled
you-
twice because I was trying to pick it up.
Most of your study was focused upon the creation and the forging of things. So you didn't really necessarily look into like aberrations or undead. So you aren't really aware of anything aside from the general knowledge of vampires that they drain people's blood, that they don't like the sunlight, that type of things, mixed with rumors, some mixed with truth, but you can't necessarily separate the two all the time. Konerith, you would know a little bit more, just knowing that vampires are definitely immortal. They have made pacts of some kind, similar to what a cleric would make, but not necessarily with a god. Then for Graves, you would have the extra knowledge that vampires can't be killed normally. There is specific ways to kill them, but you can't recall the exact ways. You just know that you can't just kill them like you would a beast.
Mhm.
And then anyone that was higher up, you also know the knowledge that the people lower than you knew.
They're an incredibly difficult to kill form of undead. Exactly how you can, I'm not sure, but not by normal means.
Well, let's
Didn't really expect to be running into one.
True. Well, let's see where this road goes. I don't I don't think we're going out the way we came in. We're definitely
No.
not leaving the road. And
Also, no.
if we face a vampire right off, I'm not sure we're going to survive, but we can try. And maybe this road leads to something that will inform us how to kill the thing, since you said there's specific ways.
Yes, hopefully.
Perhaps this Madame Eva will have some answers for us.
Oh, that's right. We must speak with Madame Eva.
Perhaps this Burgermeister will know more as well, but from the fact that he says that it's become too powerful to kill, I don't think he'll know how to kill this thing, struggling with it for 600 years, yet still have more information than us.
Yes, I definitely think we should consult multiple.
Also, a
multiple
town sounds
sources.
lovely right now.
I'm
A
also
town is such a dreadful place.
I'm also curious how our destinies are intertwined with the prince, as the Vistani had said
Hmm.
from
Yes.
that story.
Well, this road is creepy.
Let's continue.
I mean, it gives us slight coverage. I mean, I can't imagine we're seen very well, besides the giant torches in our hand.
And by beasts of the night, like those dire wolves that we saw earlier.
That-
I don't know. I'd encourage walking and talking.
Panera,
Yes.
as you are talking, you kind of look towards the sky for comfort,
And,
looking for the telltale signs of the stars and the moon to tell you that your goddess is with you. As you look at the sky, you see that the entire sky is covered in clouds, blocking out any view of the sun or moon, or the sun, moon, or stars.
yeah, I do not like this place.
Yeah.
And at this point, his pace quickens. Like he's just trying to. He doesn't know if this is leading him out or deeper in, but he just needs to go somewhere. So he's not like running, but he's just walking very briskly.
Oh, I guess Benerith either saw something or he's getting scared. We gotta keep up, boys.
I'll happily match his pace.
Yes. The sense of dread that I felt about this place, I've seen no reason for it to not be warranted yet.
As you guys are traveling along, the mist behind you keeps its steady pace, never faltering to move. The few times that one of you lags behind, the mist stops, not moving, just waiting for you to move forward. The trees slowly begin to thin as you feel you are getting towards the edge of the wood. Opening ahead of you, you see that the ground is mostly covered in a sturdy grass that is able to survive despite the toughest conditions. The land around you, though covered in mist, is actually fairly easy to see. The mist almost providing you light. As you go along, you see short, rolling hills without much blocking it. You can't see far in the distance, but you see that the road continues despite the woods ceasing.
Are the dire wolves still following?
Roll me a perception check.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pray for some guidance?
Of course.
You roll that with a D4.
Also, apologies earlier. My perception is also 13, not 15. I was looking at my passive insight. So I am tied with the others. That is my apologies.
All good.
That's a 10 on the roll, I think. That was.
And on the roll.
Yeah, I could do a 7+3.
You haven't heard a wolf howl in a while. As you look far off in the distance, you do feel like things are moving through the mist, but you can't tell if they are wolves or something else.
Have
May
we
not be the wolves, but something still follows us.
have we heard any wolves in the recently?
No.
Okay.
Once you guys kind of backed away and kept moving along the road, the wolves went more silent.
Perfect. All right. Well, at least we're not in deep woods anymore, guys. I starting to feel slightly better about this.
At least we have a little bit more sight, but it also makes us easier to spot as well.
I mean, that's true, but that also means that others are easier to spot coming at us.
That is also true. While we're a little more exposed, it's not as unknowing. We have a little more knowledge.
Earth hasn't stopped walking.
I have
yeah.
not either.
This
Great.
Until he reaches whatever end of this road there is, he's just going.
I feel like it's like a given that you guys are just not stopping walking unless you specifically state otherwise. Is that correct?
He's not talking. He's not. His focus is on being not where he is.
I think Herbert is kind of the same. He's very much, his eyes are darting around, and he's just sort of just trying to keep an eye out for any sort of movement anywhere. So he's not much for conversation.
Yeah,
except for the quick remark.
Graves is a slightly more talkative, but you can still see he still looks very nervous and agitated as he's at the front of the lantern up, just eyes darting back and forth to the sides and ahead.
Onyx isn't he isn't showing any nervousness or anything. He is eyes darting, keeping, he's very vigilant. And taking in the surroundings as well as, lines of sight. Oh, there's a hill over there and things like that. But overall, he's not showing the nervousness that all the others are.
Now, you guys can't really tell exactly how long has passed. It's been pretty stressful. You're constantly feeling like you're having to look over your shoulder, watching for wolves. And many of you almost feel like you want to jump out of your skin whenever you hear insects nearby or a crow cawing. Now, what was your passive perception, Herbert?
12.
Okay, so everyone has a 13, then you have a 12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes it easy to remember.
My passive investigation is 15, though.
Nice.
That's good to know. As you are walking along, you hear the cawing of crows in the distance. And you hear once more that lonely howl of a wolf in the distance.
Is it behind us, off to the side, or in front?
It sounds like it's in front and to the right of the road.
Okay.
All four of you look up as it's the first wolf howl you've heard in some hours. You glance and you see upon a knoll in the distance a wolf that's probably about half again the size of the wolf you saw earlier, sitting and watching.
At least he's smaller.
Wait, isn't
half
it,
again
isn't
the
it,
size.
Oh, half again.
Bigger.
Sorry, I thought...
So
yeah,
bigger.
yeah, I took it as half the size.
I always get confused by that phrase, too.
Sorry.
Yes, it
That's good.
is a big boy wolf.
Oh.
They do make him big here.
And
This wolf is
He appears to be
literally,
watching us.
it is just sitting there on this knoll, probably about 200 feet away. It's not moving. You don't see any other wolves around it. And it just passively sits there as you guys walk along the road.
Graves definitely keeps his lantern up in his other hand, kind of nearby his lantern ready for if anything happens.
I keep my
But-
eyes...
Keeps
I
moving.
keep darting my eyes over to him, but I'm still confident about this road right now.
Okay. Now,
As
is
the
anyone
brothers.
watching the wolf constantly? Or are you guys...
Graves would be pretty constantly. He'd still, be watching where he's going enough to walk that direction. But he's probably nervous enough about it that he is keeping an eye on it pretty constantly.
Herbert has target locked on it as a source of danger, so he's keeping an eye on it.
Eyes on the prize. Quinarith is squinting to the end of that road looking for
Yeah.
something other than more road.
Okay. As you guys are staring at this wolf, you suddenly hear another wolf howl to your left, much closer than the previous one.
Ooh, I snapped my head.
Graves and Herbert, are you going to continue watching the main wolf, or are you going to turn towards the new sound?
I feel like Graves would probably snap his head to the new sound pretty quickly. As much as I want to meta-wise say, keep watching it, I'm like, I don't
Seems
Graves
like
would.
instinctively that's what you would do. You hear another one,
Yeah.
you just
And it's
I'm pretty
closer.
sure Graves would
If I roll an even, I'll keep looking at the main wolf. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Roll me a
hyper-focused.
wisdom saving throw.
Oh, Oh boy! All right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. I got you.
First roll, it's not just a skill check.
Right. 15?
Ah,
Not bad, not bad.
15?
Okay, you are able to keep your composure and keep watching this wolf.
Frightening.
For the other three, you guys glance back and see a small pack of wolves, these ones smaller than the main wolf, off in the distance, and they kind of run away as they are going, leaving you alone. When you glance back, the wolf that had been watching you so closely is gone. However, Herbert, you see what happens. As you're watching, this wolf doesn't walk away, but rather it turns to mist. Its eyes remaining there slightly longer with a red hue, and the mist moves deeper and disappears.
What in the nine hells? What is this place?
Well,
What do you mean? It just ran off, right?
it looks like it's
No.
gone.
It vanished. Like it became one with the mist. Oh, it's
That tends
his
to happen.
eyes.
Do you mean
Eyes
figuratively or literally?
No. It's like it dissolved, like you drop a tablet in water and it just ooh.
That tends to happen when you lose sight or it fades off into the mist.
I was very acutely staring at it. I'm very sure of what I saw. Oh boy.
I think
Well,
you should
believe
join
me or not.
Conareth up front and let's get to the end of this road. I think your nerves are playing with you.
Speaking of Conareth, as you are squinting very fixedly on the distance in the road, you see the outline of what appears to be a large building up ahead.
oh, thanks, Celian. There's some form of shelter up there.
At that, I will immediately snap to my head to where Cornera was saying and catch right up to Konereth and alright, let's go.
All right. Quickly, let's go.
As you're walking, you see about 100 feet ahead of you what appears to be a low wall, probably about 6 to 7 feet. It is surrounding and a large building, probably about 50 feet away from the road, maybe more. And you hear another noise, something that is very different from what you've been hearing in the silence of the past hours. You hear the sound of a child crying.
From the building? So
No, it sounds like it's actually ahead of you on the road.
Oh, this is like a
Do you
child
hear that
or a
Past
baby?
the building?
No. The road itself goes along, and to the right side of the road is what looks like a small manor. As you get closer, the mist dissipates, you being able to see through it more clearly, and it is a simple, small wall surrounding what looks like a farmhouse. A large one. But you expect this is the farmhouse that Stanimir had mentioned.
No, it looks like we found the farm. Must be
I'm
one of
hearing
those things.
a crying child.
Yes,
Like a child or a baby?
a child.
I'm not sure.
The three of you hear an exasperated sigh in your heads, and it's kind of confusing. Like, it catches you off guard because you would assume that's something you would only like hear coming from someone's mouth, but like you hear it in your head as though like, yeah. Anyway, and like Konereth looking down the road is like, I know that it's probably some form of just villainous trap going on up there, but I just can't not see what's going on. If there's a child up there, actually.
It is forward regardless. We have to go. And if there is a child, we should likely help them. But I would not be surprised if it is something more sinister.
Well, I wouldn't also mind staying at this farmhouse and hoping to see that this mist breaks up, but at the same time, this might also just be an enchantment, and it might always stay night here. I can't even tell what time of day it is because the clouds are too thick.
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
I mean,
it's quite late.
didn't that guy's
You're-
note say something about a daughter?
Yes. It was bitten by... I have it right here
It
still.
was the daughter of the
She was
burgomaster.
bitten by the vampire.
The Burgermeister?
Scrolling through...
Burgermeister?
Yes, the Burgermeister's daughter. Where is her name? His adopted daughter, Irina.
Did we just hear it the one time, or is it still going on?
The crying is still going on ahead. And you hear now a shushing of someone else.
Okay, I'm going.
Yeah, I'd be going at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we better go see.
As
Still
you
be
go
careful.
forward, you guys see the wall is quite large. It goes around, broken as it goes through. You hear the noise coming from within this stable.
If Cornereth is heading in, I'm going to cast guidance on him as he goes, just as a precaution. Just sort of pray to Gond that he is clever and full of wit.
I was gonna say I wouldn't let him go in alone. I'd be going in right next to him.
Yeah,
He's
sort of like
taking
a
very
tap on the
much
shoulder.
the stance that my figurine is taking, where it'd just be like shield up front, weapon at the ready.
As you walk in, You're very aware of everything that's going on behind you. You see to your left side, in this corner, a young girl and a young boy crouched against the wall. The young girl shushing the little boy. She sees you and she kind of clutches him in fear.
Kenneth has a moment of panic, realizing that these children are already afraid. Hearing voices in their head will probably not help that. And then he looks back at Onyx, and Onyx doesn't necessarily look all that friendly either. He kind of looks past Onyx to Hubert and kind of motions him over, because right now Hubert's too far away to hear what Kenneth has to say. So he just kind of he just slowly kind of steps out of the way and lets someone else come and deal with the situation.
Would I?
Um,
I would probably instantly be like, "Oh, hello."
The little boy is clutching what looks like a doll for a doll that he's almost like clutching onto it as if it's a safety net. The little girl, who appears to be a few years older than him, shushes him, and then she's like, Can you help us?"
Grace might kind of like walk for his light with his lantern and be like, "Children, what do you need? What is it?"
There's a monster in our house. We ran. We were told to run.
Is it a wolf?
I don't know. It just horrible screams coming from the basement. We aren't supposed to go in the basement though, so we just ran. You need to save Walter.
Who's Walter?
Yes.
Our baby brother. We couldn't find him when we ran.
Yes, and he probably is a baby, can't defend for himself. Well,
Where's your parents?
I don't know. We couldn't find them either. We think maybe the monster took them.
Were you sleeping?
Yeah, it woke us. The screams wake us.
Who told you to run?
Insight?
Yeah, you can roll me an insight. What are you looking for?
He's just kind of on edge. So it's not so much that he's specifically suspicious of the children, but he just is trying to discern into the situation. Like, does this seem normal? Are they being honest? Does something seem off? Like, it's almost more just paranoia setting in than logic.
Yeah. Feel free to roll me an insight. Herbert, as far as your question, she looks at you. You believe that these children are fully terrified, and you are like feeling ready to defend their honor, and save their little brother single-handedly. Herbert, she kind of looks at you, and she's like, "We were just told if we ever had something in the basement to run."
Ouch. It's like standing orders, I suppose.
Yeah,
why
my
the
parents
basement?
don't let us go in the basement.
Why not?
I don't know. We've never been allowed to go to the basement.
who was it? Just your parents and your baby brother in the house when this happened, or was there any servants or guests as well?
Margaret's in there. I didn't see her. She's our nursemaid, and then my uncle and mommy and daddy. But I think they have some friends, but we don't see them too often.
I'm not normally the jump into action kind of person, but these children are telling us that a potential baby is at risk of a monster. I feel like maybe haste is our best option.
Yes.
And he's already kind of moving toward, like, shakily so. Like, you can see his legs are shaking a little bit through his cloak.
Yes, well, it's not necessarily wise to just jump in blindly with the situation. I don't know if we can afford too much time.
And where is your house?
She points,
Right over there.
kind of over this direction, obviously pointing through the wall. She's like, it's the really big building in the back.
All right. And how long ago was this? Have you been out here long?
No,
All
maybe
right.
10 minutes.
Do they look well clothed? Are they farmers' kids? Like,
They look like they are wearing more so the clothes of nobility. They are wearing nicer clothing.
okay. And do we notice any like marks on them, like they've been injured?
No,
Okay.
you do not.
And before we leave, what's your name so we can call out to you when it's all safe?
I'm Rose. This is Thorn.
Rose and Thorn. Fitting name.
Every rose
Well,
has its thorn.
Well, Rose and Thorn, we will go see what we can do. We will try and find your brother for you.
Thank you. We're going to wait here. We're trying to stay away from the house.
That is smart. Wait here. If anything comes, then that's not us, then continue running. But stay on the road if you leave.
Alright, they did point to the big house in the back, and that's a big house.
It is quite large. There's many estates like this in Waterdeep, but it is obviously very rare.
Have
in
you
this
like
rural
zoomed
area.
out and looked at this place?
As you
Well,
guys
yes.
get to the front of the house in Tailspire, you should see these little white bars appear on the right side.
Are those the floors?
That will be the floors, yes. You might have to adjust the green marker once you click on them. If you see the floor above, you'll just need to move the green marker a little bit lower.
Oh.
As we get up to the door, Graves, because we're kind of taking the lead here, you feel a hand on your shoulder as Conereth reaches over and puts his hand on your shoulder and says, just keep your wits about you, eh? And you get Vigilant Blessing.
Ooh, very nice.
Is advantage to your next initiative roll.
Graves will give him a nod. All right.
And what was the baby's
How
name
long
again?
does that last?
Oh,
The baby's name was
Oh,
Walter.
Walter.
Wow.
Until he rolls initiative, or until I put it on someone
Nice.
else. So it's basically like I can use it before every combat as long as I am aware of the concept of a combat coming up.
Yeah.
There's no cost to switch it for different people. But I mean, once everyone rolls initiative, that's it. I can't cast it then. So
I assume Graves would kind of feel some sort of blessing, be like, "Thank you, my friend." You know, look over to her, be like, "Herbert, you know about making things and such. What do you make of this door? Does it look?
Oh.
Do you suspect that it's just a bright ordinary door we can go through?"
I will
Locks.
take a look. Does it look like locked, or I mean, it's got a big keyhole in it, so I can only assume it would be locked.
You
investigate.
can tell that it has the option to be locked. Without actually testing it, you don't know if it's locked or not.
I don't see any reason for it to be trapped, so I'll try it.
Okay. It is unlocked, and it releases a shriek as it opens.
Ooh. Well, they know
Well,
we're
so
here.
much for so much for stealth. Oh.
You see that there are chained lanterns flanking each side. Oak wooden doors lie ahead of you.
I don't expect that there's anywhere that we've gone in the last few hours that there hasn't been something aware of our presence. I don't imagine it's any different here.
I would have been inclined to agree.
And Conereth tries the main door. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
If it's chasing us, then it's not chasing the child.
And you can right click to open it.
Okay, I was going to say, I've been trying to do that, but maybe that's... I just
As
wasn't
the
clicking
door
right
opens
spot.
ahead of you, you see about 15 by 10 foot room with 8-foot high ceilings. In each corner, there's oil lamps that leave a red hue hanging on the south wall of the foyer. There you see a shield emblazoned with a coat of arms. It is a stylized golden windmill on a red field. The shield is flanked by rows of framed portraits of stony-faced aristocrats, long dead members of the assumed family. Mahogany-framed double doors leading from the foyer to the main hall are set with panes of stained glass. As you guys are looking, you do see the following image. This is the family crest that you see on the shield. I've shared it into the handouts. You guys are wasting no time and are desperately wanting to open the door ahead of you, as I've been getting multiple people attempting to open it. You guys push against the stained glass windows, opening up into a large area. Hold on. There we go.
I was like,
Oh, there we go.
there's a fireplace that's missing.
Yeah, it changed the order of my things. Okay. You guys walk into a wide hall that seems to run the width of the house, with a black marble fireplace at one end with a blazing fire lighting the room. There's 4 doors scattered around the room and a sweeping red marble staircase at the other end of the hall. Mounted on the wall above the fireplace is a longsword. The wood-paneled walls are ornately sculpted with images of vines, flowers, nymphs, and satyrs. The decorative paneling follows the staircase as it circles upward to the second floor.
By the way, your stuff isn't hiding.
What's up?
So,
That was my
the-
test token.
Okay, I was like, I can see something, and the door's
Yeah,
closed.
it was counting as a player character. That's why you could see it.
Oh,
Okay.
Because I had a test token to check stuff.
Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to let you know, just in case.
Grace will probably look over towards
didn't-
her once again and be like, well, you seem to be more accustomed with large manners and such than I. Any idea which way to go?
well, this situation is quite irregular. I would suspect we need to just keep our wits about us, search for any signs of any life or movement.
Onyx, as you approach that door that you attempted to open, you hear the sounds of conversation inside, light conversation and silverware clinking. Do you open the door still?
I would probably have my hand on the handle and turn back to the others. And, guys, there's people behind this door.
It
What?
might be the parents or the Margaret maid woman.
Exactly, but why have they not fled if there were screams?
Oh, are they trapped, or
They-
what are they doing?
Are they hiding? Did
I-
they barricade themselves in?
Don't know, I haven't tried to open the door yet. I wanted you guys to know that there are people behind this door.
That is
Like,
probably
near
wise.
us now.
And I will try to
Well-
open the door.
Let's go.
The sound of voices and cutlery cease as soon as the door opens.
I will call out immediately. Hello?
The silence answers you back.
We heard you. You mean no
You
harm?
see- Inside, you see that there is a dining table ahead, and you see no one sitting at this table from what you can see. The ticking of the grandfather clock continuously filling in the silence.
Well,
We met the children who were concerned, and we're here to check it out. We mean you no harm.
oh, cutscene mode.
Oh,
Inside, you find a large room lit by a fireplace and a crystal chandelier hanging over a banquet table. The far wall features carved paneling with deer among trees. There's a beautiful painting above the fireplace of an alpine vale. On the opposite wall, there's a tapestry depicting hunting dogs and horse-mounted aristocrats chasing after a wolf. The large mahogany table is surrounded by 8 high-backed chairs with sculpted armrests and cushioned seats. The table itself is covered with resplendent silverware and crystalware. Polished all to a dazzling shine. Only the place settings are empty. The center of the table is weighed down with a magnificent feast.
Are like all the cutlery where they're like set up ready for a feast and not like strewn across the table?
Correct. It's all set
Oh my
in
God,
place
it's so
settings.
dark.
All of the silverware is clean. The plates are clean. Doesn't look like anything's been eaten, but all the food is set up as if it's ready for a huge feast to take place any moment.
I heard talking and I heard cutlery.
Well,
I
if
mean,
all this
perhaps-
strangeness has been happening, I don't doubt you.
Now, do you believe me about the wolf?
Or maybe my
Oh.
paranoia is starting to set in. You're infecting me!
I refuse to believe that I could be addled so easily.
So easily?
Well, I suppose you do have a point. This is quite unusual.
For as many
How
fires
does
as in here, it's rather dark.
We still have our torches, right?
You do,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
and you're able to just right-click your character and turn it on if you'd like.
Yeah, it gets even worse when you don't have them on.
Yeah.
Are you opening up a door, Konerith? I'm sorry, I don't see what you are trying to interact with.
I'm just
Oh.
looking to open the door at the other end.
Oh, okay.
I was
He's
gonna
just kind of walking over and
investigate.
sees that it looks like it heads back in the direction of the hall. And he
Yeah.
noticed that the hall branched off before, so he's just assuming it heads back.
You do open it, and you do see that it does lead into the hall before it does connect back through.
Onyx, you're the only one that hears this. It looks like there's another door that just heads back into the hall. Another branching path as well.
Well, at least we know we won't get flanked. On this side. I'm still not
Graves.
happy. Go for
What was
it.
that about Graves?
Say, Graves would probably like to take a closer look around. He sees over here where he's at. I don't know if it's just the terrain itself, but it looks almost like a cot set up.
There is a cot. It appears that it might have been like a servant's bed or something set up to be ready in the event that something happened in the middle of the night and they need to be more available. Above the cot, though, you do see the wood paneling that had been mentioned earlier, where it showed the tapestry depicting the hunting dogs and the horse-mounted aristocrats. Can you roll me a perception check?
Perception. Ten.
As you're looking through, you kind of see the tapestry ahead of you, and you are looking a bit closer, and you see that within there, it appears that the aristocrat's clothing, what appeared to be red, is actually its blood. painted upon their clothing.
Friends, come look at this tapestry. See how it
Painted.
felt.
Like it's part. Like it's part of the tapestry, or it was painted onto the tapestry.
It is part of the tapestry, like it was created to be that way. At first glance, it just looks like they are wearing red clothing, but in fact, it's actually stained with blood.
Yeah, great. But like at first glance, you can see the clothing on these people in the tapestry looks red, but if you look closely, it's actually blood.
I don't
I would
like
imagine-
this place, and I don't
would
like
imagine.
this.
So I would imagine that these aristocrats in the pic, this tapestry, are likely meant to be the ones whose manner this is. Seeing them stained in blood is not bode well.
I'm
Oh,
investigating the food, by the way, while they're looking at the tapestry.
What was that?
I'm investigating the food just to
Okay.
see if, like, I'm not gonna eat any of it, but I want to like try to determine if it's edible and stuff.
Yeah, roll me a perception check.
what sort of lord and lady would allow tapestry that depicts them covered in blood in their own home?
Unless they're the ones who painted it red.
You can't tell how long the food has been here. It does look like it's very good food, based on what you can tell. But aside from that, it looks like it's mostly looks nice. You don't know if it would necessarily taste good.
I don't trust it. Not. I'm turning up my nose, but it's very curious. I mean, it's like there's no one around, and there's just a monster, and I don't know. Just very not adding up.
I suppose if this area has a history of a vampire, then perhaps it's a bloody history. Maybe it's a metaphor. Hopefully, the people that live in these houses aren't descendants or somehow attached to the vampire themselves.
Well, we still have a baby to find.
Yes.
Yes.
Have we heard any crying or screaming or anything?
You have not.
Yeah.
We should, yes.
Great. There is one other thing. With noticing the tapestry, you do look and you do see that there is the wood paneling as well along this back wall. I had mentioned it in the first room description, but I didn't know if you want to look at it further, or if you would.
Yeah,
like
I'll have a quick look, see if there's any, like, more clues or, like,
roll me another
if it's,
wisdom.
like, a false wall or something. The perception?
Yes.
Come on, give me a good roll this time. Yo,
Hey.
22.
Okay. So this one, it
That's a
had
good roll.
originally, when you look at it, it has deer among trees in a wooded vale. As you look closer, you see that all of the trees appear to have twisted faces carved into them. And in the background, there are wolves lurking among the carved foliage.
Well, the people here seem to know about the wolves in the forest as well. They're even in this depiction here, but even the trees have twisted faces here. As it felt like something was watching us. Whether that means that literally the trees are watching us, or that's just meant to be a metaphor, I'm not sure, but seems like the people here might have more of an idea of what's going on.
You see Onyx clutch the amulet around his neck and just kind of close his eyes briefly and mutter something that you can't make out. It was more to himself.
we hearing footsteps right now?
You are not, but
Oh.
as you step forward, Kunerith, this door swings open, and a gust of wind blows through, blowing out the torches.
That's
The lantern
Oh, no.
remains lit, but all of your torches go out. And that's where we're going to take a bio break, and we'll return shortly. I believe we'll be about 5-10 minutes.
all right. We'll see you all shortly. So we
There
are
we go.
back. Woohoo!
Hey!
Welcome back.
So, as this door swings open, it blows past the three of you, blowing out the torches that were open. The casing around Graves' lantern is able to protect it from it, but the rest of them, the sudden gust of wind does blow them out. The door slowly swings shut, not really giving any indication other than the wind as to what forced it open.
Are the torches on the wall still lit as well?
The torches on the wall, yes, they are.
I would
They
turn and
flickered, but they...
just light my torch off the wall
Okay.
again.
It lights back up.
Oh. Creepy.
Should we check this door right here before we continue?
I don't like it when doors open by themselves, guys.
Knareth is just going to gingerly reach his hand out and try the door.
The door pushes open without resistance. As you look ahead of you, you see that there is a kitchen. The kitchen is tidy with dishware, cookware, and utensils neatly placed all along the shelves. A work table has a cutting board and a rolling pin on top of it. A stone dome-shaped oven stands near the east wall. Its bent iron stovepipe connecting to a hole in the ceiling. Behind the stove and to the left is a thin door. There is also a small door at waist height over on the west wall. And that is this door here at waist height.
Garen has a guess about that, but I don't think Graves would have any idea being from a tiny town.
Great place for an ambush.
Mm-hmm.
And I would try to open that door. There we go.
Okay. As you open it, you see ahead of you that it looks like a small compartment. It's about 2 feet wide, and it looks like it has just a box with cabling connected to the top of it, going to the floor above.
Good old dumbwaiter.
There is a tiny brass bell to the right side that appears that it is connected to a rope throughout the building. I believe my camera just disconnected.
Oh, yeah, it looks like you're frozen.
Okay. I will avoid clicking it so we don't run into the crashing